Art Center. It all began when I was doing a local news program and I needed material. And I would come to the Art Center quite often because there was always something of interest going on. And I became acquainted and intrigued by the stone and the people working here in the stone room. So after a couple of years, I finally decided, gee, maybe I'd like to give this a shot. Although I really can't draw or paint, or I had no experience in the fine arts, for some reason I always felt that I could do this, perhaps because it's three-dimensional instead of flat. It makes it sort of more natural and real to work on. And it's very physical. So there's a lot of physical involvement with a piece. Well, anyway, I went out and bought a couple of chisels and an inexpensive block of gray limestone, and I started chiseling away on it. After a while, I found myself hooked. Here I am 5-6 years later, obsessed with stone carving. I love doing this. I never would have imagined this for myself. It's kind of crazy to imagine going out and carving on a rock. But I'm here and I love it. I feel very fortunate that the Art Center is here because this is the only place that you can work with power tools, and the place is so well equipped for stone carving. And it's really the only place around. Even New York City doesn't offer the kind of things that the Art Center can. And since I live 10 minutes away, this is, just a marvelous thing. So I love the Art Center. I like to work on several pieces at the same time, all in different stages. That way I always have something at hand that'll suit my mood. I like the roughing out, the first initial stage in carving out the rough block of stone, which is a good way to get some of your frustrations out. Then you move on to some of the detail work, which is very creative, and you see the piece sort of come alive. And then you have the less terrific aspect of it, which is the sanding and the polishing. But even that has its good parts. You'd be amazed that you see the color and things that you hadn't seen in the stone start to come out, and that's very exciting. And you're getting close to finishing the piece and setting it up on a pedestal. So it's just it's a great process. And the stone, carving the stone has really cultivated a greater patience, I think. And a humility. The stone will humble you, especially if it's a large block of marble. Although I enjoy using hand tools and the meditative aspect of that, when you go to a large piece of stone or a hard stone such as marble, such as this one, you really have to get into the pneumatic hand tools. Otherwise it'll take too long, and I'm way too impatient for that. So I have the air hammer here, and this is the same as a hand chisel, except that it fits into this little pneumatic air hammer this way, so that I can, if I turn it on, a little bit noisy, but you get used to it, and then you've got the power, and it's easier and it's faster. Then if there's small details, actually I did use a little power tool on the little gargoyle here. I have a smaller pneumatic as well that takes a smaller chisel, so I can get down to the real fine details with this smaller chisel. Then to finish her off, if it's a large stone, I also have the angle grinder with a sanding disc. So actually, I'll put my goggles on. This makes the sanding on large surfaces for the big pieces go a lot faster. Of course, I have to finish it by hand with 5 different grits of sandpaper to get it very smooth and very shiny. But this is pretty much the first initial sanding phase.
know, a lot of people are very intimidated by the idea of carving into stone, and they don't know where to begin. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways that make it easy to begin your own project. I'll show you first this little clay model that I made in anticipation of carving into the larger stone. I used a self-hardening clay so that when I was finished I would be able to still see what my model looked like as I was working on the stone. And you can see that it pretty nearly follows the model. It was an adventure. There are differences, of course, in the interpretation. As you work the stone, you have to make adjustments and let your intelligence and your sense of design come to the fore. But basically, you have something to work from as you begin to carve into the stone, and you don't feel quite as lost. There are other ways to do it as well. You could start with a sketch. Here I've just roughly scribbled on a piece of paper some forms, and you can begin with just that and look at your stone and see if it fits the general shape, and begin to draw on the stone and see where your lines will take you, and then begin to carve. But today I'm going to show you how to just look at the stone and let the stone dictate to you what you can do. I'm going to use a handheld power tool with a tooth chisel and put on my glasses for protection and begin. What I'm doing here is basically cleaning off the lumps and bumps that nature left on this stone. And after I've brought many of the surfaces together, I'll be able to see the forms that remain. And of the forms that remain, I will twist and turn the stone and see where I want to carve more or less, or bring in lines and curves and crevices and create an abstract piece of stone.
If you're like me and you're looking for something new and exciting to do, then come visit us at the Marcella Geltman Gallery here at the Art Center of Northern New Jersey. Take time to view the many exciting exhibits that take place all year round. You could also come in and rekindle your creative energies by taking classes in either painting, sculpture, ceramics, printmaking, and much more. For more information, please call us at 201-599-2992 or visit us on the web at www.artcenter-nnj.org, or simply come in and stop by and say hello at 250 Center Street right here in New Milford.